it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. I was going to do this, and then I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I like to use everything I can. I don't like food waste. It bothers me a lot to purchase food or grow food, and then you end up wasting the food. And personally, I don't like that, so I try to avoid that. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a meal that I can eat off of for actually several days, and I will even have enough that I can share some if I want to and still eat for several days. Now, some people may think that they can't eat too many repetitious meals, and I guess that's okay for you. But if you are hungry and if you really want to eat, you would be surprised what you can eat several days in a row. So I pulled out these 4 nice carrots. I peeled them. I'm going to take the ends off and cut them up just roughly, because these are going to go in the oven along with some onions. Now the onions, I went down in my pantry and I pulled these out. I have quite a few onions, and I'm thinking, you know, I really need to use some of those up. So I'm going to put these in the oven as well. I'm going to put these in a roasting pan with the carrots. And I'm going to just cut them into quarters, keep them large. And I have some, I went down to the pantry and I took a bag with me and I loaded it up with the rest of the potatoes that I happen to have. Now, these potatoes, let me show them to you, are looking a little sad now. You can see that some of them are shriveled, and so I'm going to peel these very carefully. I'm going to pick over them, make sure that there's no bad spots. They're not rotten, they're just sad and dried out. They've seen better days. And so I'm going to salvage these potatoes, and these are also going to go in the pan to roast with my vegetables. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I've got 8 medium to small potatoes. Now then, what I did earlier today, I have a can of salmon in my pantry, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to make up some salmon patties. And so I made the mixture up this morning. It's been sitting covered in the refrigerator. So I'm going to make some patties out of these. If you don't know how to make salmon patties, I have a video on that. I teach you how to make the salmon, how to take the bone out of the salmon if you don't like that. Some people don't mind it. I personally don't care for that. But all this is 1 can of salmon with the liquid. And the liquid is intact, the bone is removed, and I put about half to 3/4 of a sleeve of soda crackers, 2 eggs. I crunch up the crackers really good, actually kind of turn them into crumbs. I beat them, and literally beat them, and then I put them in my mix with salt and pepper, and that's honestly it. Okie doke. I've got the carrots done. They're cut up. I've got my onions peeled and rinsed. Now I'm just going to cut the onions up. And this is all I'm going to do to them because I'd like for them to primarily stay intact. So that's all I'm going to do. Now, these are simply going to be seasoned with salt and pepper. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want to show you, if you don't have a lot of spices and that kind of thing, then salt and pepper will absolutely do for you. Okay, so there's the onions, there's the carrots. You can see how I've cut the carrots. There's a little spot on that carrot. Let's scrape him off. Awesome. And there it is. Okay, now I've got my pan of vegetables here. Now, there was 1 potato that was not salvageable, it was starting to rot in the middle, and it was it just was not salvageable. So I'm gonna cut these potatoes up, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of cut them in quarters here. I have my oven heating to 375 degrees, which is fine for me because it's been 2 degrees for most of the day since the sun came out here in Iowa. We've got snow up to our wazoo. Oh, dark spot there. Got snow up to the wazoo, and I just thought, you know what? It's okay to heat up the oven. I'm doing it. And now, remember I said I was just going to toss some salt and pepper on these, but you can put on there whatever you have, whatever you want. Maybe there's something you would like to put on your vegetables. Whatever spice you like. Maybe some oregano, maybe some garlic, maybe some basil. How about some nutmeg? Nutmegs are good on carrots, onions, potatoes. Don't go too heavy with it, but you can use it. It gives a nice background flavor. You can put dill. How about dill? Dill would be good as well. Now, I'm going to make a dill sauce using some dill relish for my salmon patties. But you can do whatever you like. So, there our potatoes are. I'm going to get my pan out. We're going to toss these with just a little bit of oil, not very much, and we'll go from there. All right, I've got a little vegetable oil here. If you, another thing, if you can use whatever oil you like. You can even use bacon grease. If you've got it, that would be awesome. So I'm just going to let it drizzle here. And I've got my pan. Now, if you want to line this with parchment paper, you can, but I just want to show you, you can do this. You don't need anything extra at all. You can just certainly use any pan that you have. Parchment paper kind of helps with the mess, or you can use foil. I'm not going to use either, because, you know, maybe I don't have that. I do have it, but I'm going to show you what you can do. Now, I'm going to toss these, give them a nice little toss. They look tasty already, don't they? Yes, they do. All right, dump them in. And you know what? Don't worry if they're crowded. Honestly, it doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. These look awesome. Let me give my hands a quick rinse. I'm going to put more salt and pepper over them. Now remember, you season them however you like. Salt is good. Salt makes food taste good. Alright. Did I forget to cut one up? I did. Look at that. How did that happen? I don't know how that happened. Where's my... There it is. Let's cut this one in half because he's little. Awesome. Alright. Now, I'm going to pop these in the oven. I don't know. I'm going to set the timer on 30 minutes, but it may take longer than that. And if it does, what I'm going to look for, I want the potatoes to be kind of golden and brown and really nice. And I want the onions to be a little bit caramelized. And I want all my vegetables done. So in they go in the oven, 375 degrees for however long it takes. Okay, while my vegetables are cooking for the first 30 minutes, I'm going to, when the timer goes off after 30 minutes, I'm going to start my salmon patties. Because the salmon patties, the mixture's already made, it's not going to take that long. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of dill sauce for my salmon patties. And all I'm going to do is just add a couple of tablespoons of dill relish. This comes from the Dollar Tree for $1, of course. It's pretty tasty. And I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise. And you know, actually that comes from the dollar store too. I just picked it up because I wanted to try it and see how it was. It's pretty good. It's called Mrs. Clark's. Mrs. Clark's has done a great job with this mayonnaise. So I'm going to mix it up. I'm not going to add salt. I think mayonnaise is kind of salty personally, but you can add it if you want to. I am going to add some pepper though. And mix it up really well. You can see there, that's it. Okay, the timer went off. And I'm going to take out the vegetables because I had them for 30 minutes. Let's show you what they look like after 30 minutes at 375 degrees. That's what they look like. Now, I'm going to give these a toss real quick. You can see that they're starting to get a little brown on the bottom. Got some brownage going on there. Now, I wanted to tell you, these are raw vegetables, so they're going to take a bit longer. You can use frozen vegetables if you want. If you've got, sometimes we end up with several bags of, partial bags of vegetables in our freezer. You can use them if you want to. You can also, but I do recommend this. If you're going to mix the frozen and the raw, start the raw ahead of time and then add your frozen for the last 15 minutes or so. Okay? You don't have to do that, but that's just my recommendation. Otherwise, the frozen may get cooked to pieces and you may not even remember what you have. All right. See a little brown there on that carrot, and you can see what they look like. They're looking very good. And you don't have to use carrots, potatoes, and onions. If you've got parsnips or turnips or, I don't know, whatever you have, use them. Pumpkin, maybe some pumpkin, maybe some sweet potatoes. Just a suggestion. All right, I'm going to put these back in the oven, and I'm going to put them in for another 30 minutes, actually. So I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. And ooh, I hit 40. Let's go to 30. All right. So now I'm going to heat up my oil here, and I'm going to get busy on the salmon. Show you what I got there. Now, this is what I do. And on my how-to video, my instructional video, how to make salmon patties and how to deal with the bones in the can, etc., etc., I show you how I make the patties. Now, I take an old ice cream scoop. You can use whatever you want, or you can just pad them out by hand if you like. That's perfectly fine. I prefer to do it this way. So, I'm going to just show you here what I do. Let's see if they are, let's see how our grease is doing there. Make sure that our fat is hot enough. Starting to sizzle. I think it's okay. So all I do, I just put in a scoop of salmon mixture, and I also allow enough space in between, because as these brown on one side, I'm going to flip them over, and then I'm going to flatten them out, so they're going to take up more space. So let's see how many we get out of our salmon. The salmon was about a little more than $2 or so a can at Aldi. It's fresh caught canned salmon. The crackers, I get off-brand soda crackers for, turn my heat down a little bit there, for about 89 cents for the box. So that's not too bad. And I use, like I said, I use about 1/2 to 3/4 of a sleeve of crackers, crushed very well. And 2 eggs. The eggs have been pretty reasonable lately. The eggs are running 69 cents a dozen, I think, at Aldi here in Iowa. So this is how much I have left there to scoop out. So we have 6 patties browning. Now let's see. What are they looking like? Nope, not quite. I want them more brown than that, so I'm going to let them brown up, and then when I'm ready to flip them, I will show you. Okay, now I salted and peppered the mixture when I made it, so I'm going to turn these over. I will add a little salt over the patties when they are completely done. And as always, when you're messing with, hot fat, you want to be careful. Don't go crazy. All right, now I'm going to smash these down. These will be flipped a couple of different times so that I can make sure that they're browned completely on both sides and on the edges too. You can see that I'm just pressing them. I'm not making them too thin, but they're not going to be too thick either. Adjust your heat if you need to. You can see how these look. Adjust your heat if you need to so that it's not too hot. You don't want them to cook too fast, but you don't want your fat to be too low that they don't crisp up nicely. They look good. All right. Now, you can see in this size pan, 6 of them were plenty big enough, and I still have a little room to spare there. So, I got my heat on medium-high, or medium-low. It depends if your glass is half full or half empty. So, we got a nice dinner on the way here, and a dinner that I can eat many times in many different ways. All right, we'll be back. Okay, I'm going to turn these over again so the other side can get browned. These smell really good. I love salmon patties. I grew up with them. Back in the days, canned salmon was extremely cheap. And it went a long way when you have a big family. Now these are going to get turned again, by the way. You can see they're starting to firm up. See them? Which, that's a good sign. That means they're getting done. And we're going to get, I don't know, we might have 2 or 3 left in here. I really don't know. We will see when the time comes. All right, we're going to flip them one more time. Oh, look, see how nice and golden brown they are? That's why we flip them several different times, because we want that all over our salmon patties. Awesome. Get this one. Come on. Come on, baby. Yeah, it's awesome. Now, I've got a platter here. I'm going to put some paper towel on that to absorb the grease. When my mother made salmon patties, she cooked them in bacon grease. And we always had boiled potatoes and usually peas with our salmon patties. That was pretty much standard. So, and then every time we had boiled potatoes, my mom would heat up some bacon grease and she would chop raw onion, and those who wanted it could have, we would smash our boiled potato on our plate, and it usually had the jackets on, the skins on, and then pour the hot bacon grease with salt and pepper over our potato and put on some raw onion. Lethal, but oh so delicious, and even as a little kid, I loved that so very much, and so it was awesome. It's still awesome. But you better make sure that whoever you're living with doesn't care if you're oniony, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, let's take a few of these off here. I'm going to put them on my platter and finish them off. And you can see now these are nicely browned on the other side as well. They look good? Okay, these are good. So delicious. So we're going to get quite a few out of here. Let's put the other ones in. Let's see if can we get 3. There's usually a straggler which is small, and I think that's probably what I'm going to have this time. A straggler that is smaller than all the rest. So that gives us 8 nice sizes and a straggler. Alright, we're going to cook these up, and then we'll be back. Okie doke. Our vegetables are done. Our salmon patties are done. Now, I put the vegetables on another 30 minutes after I stirred them. At 15 minutes I stirred them again, and then I took them out right now with about 10 minutes left. So they did not go the full 30 minutes, just so you know. So let's take a look. These are very, very nice. They just look very, very delicious. They really, really do. Alright, I put a sprinkle of salt over my salmon patties after they came out, just a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with my little pepper, a little bit of salt. Give them a quick stir, and that's it. And I have out my dill sauce for the patties. Now, wouldn't you like to eat a meal like this? Now, listen. The instructional video to make the salmon patties and how to deal with your canned salmon, I will, because sometimes there's some things about canned salmon that are off-putting to people. So I do show you how to do that. I think there's a short video about how to deal with the canned salmon, and then there's another video about how to make the patties. I will find those, and I will put links below in the description box for you. Okay? All right. Would you like for me to make you a plate? Let me make you a plate. Making you a plate is one of my favorite things to do. All right. If you like, if you're so inclined, you can put a pat of butter on your vegetables after you get them on your plate. Shall we have one more carrot? I think we should have one more carrot. If you hear something, it's my dog snoring. She snores. All right. Let's do our salmon patties. And because I'm going to take the small one here so I can use it. I'm going to give myself 2 patties because I love salmon patties. And so that gives us 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had 9 patties. So I'm going to have a couple because they're scrumptious. And I'm going to grab a spoon real quick so I can put my dill sauce. Put some dill sauce on there. A little bit right there. A little bit right there. And there it is. I hope you try the dill sauce. I think you're really going to like it. All right. This is extremely hot. Can you see what this looks like? It's very nice. It makes a very nice plate. If you happen to have vegetables left, if you run out of salmon before you run out of vegetables, don't worry about it. You can put these vegetables in a nice soup if you like. Or smash them roughly together. Add whatever you want to them, a little bacon or whatever, and make yourself a nice hash. It's really tasty. It really is. Now look at this nice onion, a nice piece of onion here. There's a piece of potato and a piece of carrot. Dare I get all of them? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to. All right, let's see what we got. I wish you were here to share this with me. You would love it. Mmm. Oh, so awesome. Mmm. The potatoes are done just right. The onions have that roasted caramely texture. And you know what? There's something about roasting vegetables that changes the vegetables. Oh, and the carrots are lovely. So good. All right, let's cut a piece of this salmon. See how nice that is? See how crispy it is on the outside? It's so lovely and crispy. So I'm going to dip a little bit here in my dill sauce. See that? Awesome. Can you hear it? The dill is just enough. If you have some lemon juice or if you've got some lemons and you want to put some on your salmon, please do. Now, remember this. I really have about $1 worth of vegetables. I've got $2 and I don't know what it was, $2.69 I think for this can of salmon. It's probably, I don't know, a quarter's worth of crackers, 2 eggs. So we're looking at maybe 6 cents a piece. And that little bit of dill sauce there, very inexpensive, very delicious. I hope you give it a try. And you know what? I will be able to eat from this for several days, either for lunch, for dinner, and believe me, I love, love, love to take a cold salmon patty and put it on a piece of toast. I know it's just me, but I do. With some dill pickles, they're awesome. Or use your salmon patty and make a fish sandwich with some tartar sauce. So, so delicious. You can even put a little cheese on there if you want to. All right, listen. If I can do it, you can do it. You know you can. And just remember that I love you, and I am rooting for you. I really am. I think that you can do this. Okay? All right. I love you, and as always, you remember that little is much when God is in it. Okay? All right. I'm glad you joined me today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye.